Welcome students of 2A and 2B to this video about green living, a very important topic for me, although I don't always achieve in it. And we are talking about the impact of climate change on the global village. And that also means that more and more people try to do or to put into practice green living. For more and more people, this is a very important thing that we see here, green living. But we see also a difficulty in this because when we live on an island, we have to import a lot of things from abroad, from North America, South America, Europe, but also we're just human beings. So we also like shopping. We like shopping. We're human beings, like you can see here. And me too, I like shopping too. We like shopping in all of its different forms that you can see over there. For instance, in Punda, for instance, in Sambil, or in a supermarket during holiday season. We shop a lot, but a lot of the things that went up in our basket are made of plastic. A lot of those materials go into the waste bin, in the bin, in the waste basket, and they have to be taken with them with Celicor and burned into landfill. So this is an issue. We try to live green, but we also like to shop. We also like to buy stuff. In a difficult word, we call this consume. We like to consume stuff. Eat, buy, wear new clothing, buy a new computer game, like myself. We consume, and that's why we are also called consumers. And we actually consume more than we actually need as consumers. We are consumers. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So we consume and we are consumers, and we like to shop, we like to buy new clothing, we like to buy new game consoles, we like to buy food that's not created on the island, but outside of the island, in Europe, North America, South America, Asia, wherever. So this is a challenge because more and more we need to do green living. What are the learning outcomes of this paragraph? In the section, you will learn to identify, that is the learning verb, and what do we need to have to identify? Possible solution to effects of climate change. So what are possible solutions to effects of climate change? That is the learning outcome of this paragraph of chapter 5, paragraph 3. So you have the book. If you have the book, you can take that in front of you. Reuse, reduce, and recycle. So we live in an age of mass consumption. Mass consumption tending papiamento consumo massal. Consumo massal. Yeah? Mita bisibong, mita bench. Consumo massal. That means we buy a lot of things, and a lot of those things are the same. From pizza to jeans to cars, we buy a lot of things, and a lot of those things we don't need, but a lot of those things we buy because they're cheap, or they're easy to buy, or they're obtainable, and we buy them in large quantities. Yes, we buy them at supermarkets in large quantities. If perhaps you can recognize this picture above, do you recognize it? It's the Costco. And in large quantities, they buy stuff because then we can buy it more cheaply. Yeah, this is mass consumption, consumo massa. And the idea of reducing includes reduction our overall consumption because we consume a lot, and a lot of those things we don't actually need. Yeah, este aqui nos mestre baja. We need to decrease our overall consumption. Nos mestre baja este aqui. This is likely to mean that we produce when we consume less. Yes, nuestro consumo baja, que ora nuestro consumo baja, que ora nuestro consumo menos. This is likely to mean that we produce less waste. So less mass consumption, less consumption would likely mean that we consume less. And this also, as a consequence, produces less waste. Putting it simply, yeah, consumo massal creates a lot of waste that is brought by Celicor to landfill. This takes a lot of effort and it's bad for nature, it's bad for air quality, but we can reduce the amount of waste we generate, yeah, because when you see here, mass consumption creates large amounts of waste. Mass consumption creates large amounts of waste, but we can reduce the amount we generate even further by reducing and recycling. So mass consumption, as a consequence, creates quantità grande di sushi. It creates, as a consequence, large amounts of waste, like you can see here, quantità grande di sushi, as a consequence, but large amounts of waste. But we can reduce the amount of waste we produce even further, not only by consuming less, but also by reusing and recycling. Yeah, so we can reuse clothing, we can reuse our products, but we can also recycle them. And by doing this, so by reducing and recycling, we will decrease the amount of waste. When doing this, we will together decrease the amount of waste we bring to our landfills and we bring to our garbage bins and we bring to the incinerators to be burned or to be thrown into the river. So by reusing and recycling, nos da baja en cantidad de desperdicio, baja en cantidad de desperdicio, we will decrease the amount of waste. We have an certain decrease in the amount of waste. Yes. And this is, of course, very important. Yes. But still, we have to, together with this, decreasing the amount of waste by reusing and recycling. Okay, that's very important. We cannot do without. We have to decrease the amount of waste by reusing and recycling. But that isn't the only thing we have to do. Besides that, we also have to decrease baja in nos consumo massa. So by decreasing our mass consumption, by increasing our reusing and recycling, as a result, we have a decrease in the amount of waste. And this is very important for the future on our island because our landfills will be filled, our air quality will decrease, and the livability of our island will decrease also if we don't act. So this is also very, very important. I hope this video was helpful in learning you more about green living. Again, the learning outcome was to identify Yama. So this is less than outlining and even less than explaining. You just have to be able to name them. Possible solutions to effects of climate change. So thinking in solutions to effects of climate change, and you have to learn them, but you only have to identify them. So please also look at the learning verb when you study this learning outcome. So again, look at the learning outcome, and when you study this paragraph, keep in the back of your mind what the learning outcome exactly is, so you'll be prepared for the tests and the exam of CCSLC at the end of this year. If you have more questions, you can ask them below. And keep in mind, when we think about green living, there's a lot of pollution on our island. So don't throw away your plastic, but put them to the different recycle stations on the island. A lot of supermarkets have them. And there are a lot of beautiful initiatives on the island, yes, of the issue of the overflow of plastic, for instance. We have Limpy that tries to recycle them. They have a new office at Sambil. We have the Green Phoenix that also tries to think of solutions for recycling a lot of our plastic. And we have more and more recycle stations on the island, for instance, on our airport, in recycling general waste, recycled waste here and here in different kinds. Yeah, so these are examples of green living. These are examples of green living. If you have questions about those, you can ask those questions below. If you want to be a subscriber of my YouTube page, you can click the bell and the bell will be rung when I've made new videos. And in the coming days and weeks, I will make a lot of them. So you'll be posted. Your bell will be rung when I make new videos. For now, enjoy your day, morning, afternoon, or evening, and a well meant goodbye to you all.